Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land, which the Lord thy God, or the Lord Yahweh, God of thy fathers, giveth thee to possess it, all the days that ye live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess served their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. So all those places where the shrines, their valleys, all the places where they serve their gods, you're supposed to destroy that, their worshiping areas. Ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. These are their places of worship. And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods, their idols, and destroy the names of them out of that place. So you're going to completely eradicate it out of the land. So it's no longer a habitation of Baal or Molech or whatnot. That's how you destroy the names out of the place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God, meaning you're not going to do not serve the Lord in the way that they serve their gods. Okay, but because they had all these different areas where they would serve their gods. But for the Lord is different. But unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come. So the place where the Lord chooses out of all the tribes, the location he chooses to put his name, that's where you're going to go to serve the Lord. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and heave offerings of your hand, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herds and your flocks. So that's where you're going to bring it to be offered or sacrificed to the Lord. And there ye shall eat before the Lord your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand onto. Because those sacrifices, you would the offerer would sacrifice it, right? The priest would do the sacrifice and all that, but they would eat a portion of it, right? And then some offerings, peace offerings in particular mentions as well, you would some of them you'd be able to eat the first day, and then if it wasn't finished the first day, you couldn't eat any more of it the second day. It had to be burned if anything was left over. And for some, you could eat it the first and second day, but not the third. So it says here, ye and your households wherein the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And for example, the case with Elkanah, right, and his house, right, with Hannah and I think it was Peninnah, his other wife. Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. Meaning, the way you're living now is not how you're going to be living in the land. There are going to be some changes, right? You're not going to be doing whatever you want to do, wherever you want to do it. For ye are not as yet come to the rest and the inheritance which the Lord your God giveth you. That's why you had to do things slightly differently here on this side. And but when ye go over Jordan and dwell in the land which the Lord your God giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safely, then there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall ye bring all that I command you. So that's where you're going to bring all of your offerings, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, which is a tenth of your increase, and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto the Lord. So the sacrifices of your vow when you go to complete it. And ye shall rejoice, or anything you vow unto the Lord. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God, ye and your sons, and your daughters, and your menservants, and your maidservants, and the Levite that is within your gates. For as much as he hath no part nor inheritance with you. So remember, you would have suburbs, right, or cities in the territory or inheritance of the various tribes where the Levites would dwell, because they didn't have their own land. That's why it includes them here and mentions that. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place where thou seest. So don't just go offering it willy-nilly wherever you want, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes, which he ended up, choosing Jerusalem. There thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee. So he's saying, for your offerings and so on, you have to bring it to the place the Lord chooses. But in terms of, just regular eating, you can kill and eat whatever you want, wherever you want. Not it doesn't have to be at a particular place. It says here, the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart. Now, the unclean and clean meaning people, whether if you're ceremonially clean or ceremonially unclean, right? Maybe you touch a dead body or something like that, you can still eat of it, right? You can eat what you want where you want, obviously of the clean animals. And what it's saying here is as the roebuck and as the hart. Now these are lawful animals to eat, but they weren't animals the Lord required for sacrifice. So he's saying here, you can kill a lamb, right? You can kill a ram, you can kill a bullock and eat it, as freely and regularly as you would a roebuck and a hart, which you were doing in the, here on this side where they were. So there are no more limitations where it's like, oh, if I kill this animal, it has to be brought to the tabernacle, and then so on and so forth. That's what the Lord is saying. You're now free to eat it when you want, where you want. Only ye shall not eat the blood; ye shall pour it upon the earth as water. Now let's actually look this up again here. In the NLT it says, but you may butcher your animals and eat their meat in any town whenever you want. You may freely eat the animals with which the Lord your God blesses you. All of you, whether ceremonially clean or unclean, may eat that meat, just as you now eat gazelle and deer. Verse 17, thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thy oil, or of the firstlings of thy herds, or of thy flock, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy freewill offerings or heave offerings of thine hand. Why? Because those are to be offered unto the Lord. So you ain't just going to go eat that. Oh, Lord said we can eat when we want, so we just do it. No. These are to be offered unto the Lord. So for those, thy gate, meaning in your city or in your town, instead you had to bring these to the place where the Lord would choose, right? But thou shalt eat them before the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. So you would come and offer it, and then you would eat a portion of it, but it would be in the place where he would choose. Thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite that is within thy gates, and thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou puttest thine hands unto. Take heed to thyself that you forsake not the Levite as long as thou livest upon the earth. Don't neglect the Levites just because they don't have their own, territory or inheritance in the land among you, because they play a very important role. When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh, thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Obviously, that is lawful. So now you're good. You don't have to worry about do I have to sacrifice this? Do I have to bring this here? You don't got look, you want to eat flesh, you can eat it. If it's lamb, if it's goat, right? If it's oxen, if it's bullock, whatever. If the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to put his name, or put his name there, be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill thy herd and thy flock, which the Lord hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat it in thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Right? So if the place that you're, say the temple, is too far too far from you, then as it says here, you can, kill that animal in wherever your dwelling is, and then you can eat it there. Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so thou shalt eat them. The unclean and the clean shall shall eat of them alike. And it keeps making reference to the roebuck and the hart, because those, at the time when you kill an animal, you have to, come in and offer that, right? Or make an offering of it. You didn't have to do that for the roebuck and the hart, because those weren't sacrificial animals. So you could eat those freely. So that's why he's making a comparison. Just as freely as you eat those, you can now eat any clean animal you want freely like that. Okay? The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. It's not saying you can eat an unclean and clean animal, but whoever is unclean or whoever is clean can both of you still eat this animal, or eat of the meat. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it, because the spirit is in the blood. So you're supposed to pour out the blood of the animal. You're not supposed to eat the blood with the meat when you prepare it. Thou shalt not eat it, thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. Only the holy things which thou hast, and thy vows, thou shalt take, and go on to the place which the Lord shall choose. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offering, the flesh, and the blood, upon the altar of the Lord thy God. And the blood of thy sacrifices shall be poured upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and thou shalt eat the flesh, right? Because that's a part of the ritual, right? The priest would put the blood on the horns, for depending on the kind of sacrifice it was, and then pour the rest at the sides of the altar. And then the fat and the kidney and stuff would be burnt onto the Lord, but the meat would be eaten of the offerer and the priest. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee forever, when thou goest, or when thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of the Lord Yahweh thy God. When the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. So be very careful when you go to possess the land, and you kick these people out the land, you destroy them. Do not get curious and try to say, oh, I want to know how they serve their gods so I can serve my God in the same way. Don't do that. Verse 31, thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he hateth have they done unto their gods. The way they serve their gods is abominable to the Lord. So don't try to mimic that. For even their sons and their daughters have they burnt in the fire to their gods. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. So don't try to do what they do. You serve me the way I tell you to serve me. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish it, or diminish from it. So don't add new laws, and don't take away from the laws of the Lord. And that brings us to the end of the book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.